So on Thursday last week, it was Ascension Day, and it marks a very strange event, as we've just heard from some of our wonderful church families in their retelling of the story. And it's made me wonder quite a bit. First, Jesus was saying goodbye to his disciples before being taken back to heaven. So you'd think they would be sad and devastated at Jesus leaving them once more. Instead, we read in Luke 24:52 that once he'd gone, they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem very happy. I wonder why they were happy. Well, I wonder if any of you know where the word goodbye comes from. It's a shortened form of the words God be with you. So every time you say goodbye to someone, you're actually saying that you want God to be close to them. It's a blessing in disguise. When we say goodbye in these strange COVID-19 days, we can remember that we're really asking God to be with them. Perhaps as one of your household set out on their way to the work that they have on the front line, perhaps when they leave the house for a walk or on their latest mission to the supermarket. Or maybe you're just simply going to miss them and you want to be sure that God will be close to them, even if you can't be. I wonder if you know the French word for goodbye. It's au revoir, which means till we see each other again, or see you again soon. Isn't that hopeful? I love that. What you're saying is, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. And the German also is Auf Wiedersehen, which means the same as the French. I wonder if someone has ever left you without saying goodbye. I'm sure that most of you all know that my dear dad died of COVID-19 recently, and like many others, we are unable to say goodbye. And it's been a really sad time for us all. It made me think of the first time that Jesus left his friends. There wasn't time to say goodbye. Do you remember? Jesus was arrested in the garden at night time. His friends were so scared, they all ran away and hid in their rooms. And Jesus was killed on the cross before they had time to say goodbye to him. I wonder how that made them feel. But that wasn't the end of the story, was it? On Easter Day, Jesus came back to life, and they all met him again on several different occasions. I wonder if you can remember the stories of those meetings that we've been reading about in these last few weeks in our Glow and Spark group. What about when Mary met Jesus outside the tomb and mistook him for the gardener? How about when Thomas asked to see the scars in Jesus' hands and feet? Or when Jesus joined the two friends as they walked on the road to Emmaus? Jesus was with them again, but in a special way. Now he could be anywhere, and apparently he could walk through walls. And there was obviously something different about the way he looked, as people didn't always recognise him at first. But he was with them. Then, 40 days after Easter, as we heard in our story today, he called his friends up onto a hill near Jerusalem and told them all about the job he had for them to do, to tell people all over the world what they had seen him do and heard him say. And Jesus gave his disciples some very clear instructions on how they were to do this. Do you know, as I was preparing this, it made me think about all of the instructions that we've been trying to follow from the government during this pandemic. You may remember this was their first slogan, which tries to encompass everything we need to do in 3 easy to remember phrases. Stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives. Well, it's all sort of got a little bit more woolly since then, hasn't it? not quite as clear cut as it was, and we're all still trying to work out how we can follow these new instructions. Well, I suppose, in fairness, it was never going to be easy trying to sum up all of the new rules in 3 simple steps. But it helped me to realise that sometimes we can overcomplicate things when all we really need to do is read back through Jesus' instructions in Acts. He summed it up very clearly in 3 simple steps for the disciples to follow, and I've paraphrased them like this. Stop at home. Get ready to receive the Holy Spirit. Go and save lives. Now, they may have been a bit scared about this final instruction, but he promised them a helper. His Holy Spirit would come and live inside of them, so they would never be on their own. He didn't tell them to go and save lives first, without first receiving the Holy Spirit. There were simple steps they had to follow. 1, 2, 3. So I think that's why his friends weren't sad. They were joyful that they had clear instructions, and they knew that they wouldn't have to do this on their own, because Jesus was going back to heaven. The Holy Spirit wasn't going to be restricted to being in one place at one time, as Jesus was when he walked as a man on earth. Instead, he would be in all of us, wherever we are, for all time. So we should be joyful too. This has been God's clear message to us from the start. But I feel particularly through this pandemic, he's highlighting this simple Great Commission. For now, we have to stop at home. We need to prepare ourselves and get ready to receive his Holy Spirit, because soon he wants us to go out into our schools, our workplaces, wherever he leads us, and tell everyone the good news about Jesus. And not just save lives, but offer them eternal life.